Good morning. Today I'm going to show you the different steps it takes to make a snap bag. Now, a snap bag is basically a little bag. It can be any size, but the closure on the bag is made using an old tape measure, and you just put two pieces of the tape measure in, and when the bag is finished, the little tape measure holds it, the top closed, and then when you stop using it, it snaps closed. So it's quite neat. You've got a little bag like that. Now, I've laid out all the different steps here so that I can show you step by step what to do. So basically you start with your outside of your bag, which you can make any size. And then you need a piece of batting, which is exactly the same size as the outside. And then you need another piece of lining, and you need to have it extend past the edges of both the ends of the bag. So you can see here I've got about 2 inches on this side of the bag, and I have 2 inches on this side of the bag. And that basically becomes the enclosure for the tape measure part that goes inside. So what we're going to do, we're going to fold and iron this edge, and then you're going to fold it again and iron it again, and you're going to do that on both ends. So you can see on my next step that I've done that, and I've stitched. You can see I've top stitched along this edge and along this edge, and that is going to make the little enclosure on the end. So on this bag it's a bit bigger, so I actually did some stitching lines just to make sure that the lining and the batting kind of all stay together. But it is quite a bit bigger than the other bag, so that's why it's got the stitching lines. And basically I used 2 blocks that were left over from another project. So it's neat when you use these bags, or when you make these bags, because you can use all different sizes. So whatever you have left over, you can use that. So I did the top stitching on there, and we've got the little channel here on both ends, and then you just take and you fold it in half and line up those 2 edges. Okay, so you can see I've got the raw edges lined up on both sides, and the edges of the top stitching are lined up on the ends. Next step is to stitch along the raw edge. So I did about a 1/4 inch along that edge, and then you want to trim that off so that all these little threads and the little pieces that are sticking out are nice and even. And then you're going to take and zigzag. So I just used my zigzag on my machine and zigzagged along that edge to make it nice and clean. Next step is to cut your tape measure. So I just went to the dollar store and bought a cheap tape measure. These are all the different ones that I've cut for all these bags. So I've got little ones for little bags and big ones for the bigger bag. So once you're done cutting it, you want to round the edges. So you'll see on this one that I took scissors and I just rounded the edges on both ends of the tape measure. Now you want to cut the measure so that it's about 3/4 of an inch shorter than the length of your bag. And the reason for that is for the seams, right? So you've got a little bit of wiggle room once that is inside of the bag. When you put it into the bag, you want to have it so that the edge, so you go into that little channel, and you want the rounded side of the tape measure facing or looking towards you when you put it in, so it's on the outside of the bag. So rounded edge on the outside of the bag, and you just slide it into that little casing. Next step is to go and stitch the side, trim, and zigzag. And you'll find when you've got the tape measures inside that they wiggle a little bit. Just push them as far as you can towards the seam that's already sewn, and then you're going to sew the last edge. And then basically you turn it right side out and your bag is done. So this is a little one, kind of good for glasses or a rotary cutter. You can make them big enough for shoes, makeup, pretty much anything you can think of, you can put in these little bags. And you can see I've used up pieces of other quilts that I've had left over. I made some I made some book covers, and these were all the pieces that were left over after I put them together. So I've made them into all sorts of little tiny bags. So I think it's kind of a neat technique to know, and it makes great little gifts. So I hope you enjoyed this video and have a great day. Thanks.